Hi everyone, I'm Jessica James Stutzman, and thank you for tuning in to the Millcreek Government Channel for this special show today. For more than 200 years, the American flag has been a symbol of our nation's strength and unity. The flag has also been a source of pride and inspiration for millions of citizens. In order to help us teach all of us how to continue to respect this great American icon, we have invited two very patriotic individuals into the studio today. Joining us are project coordinators for the Retire Your Unserviceable Old Glory, Denise Etter and Jackie Tamero. Thank you both for being here today. I love this project and I can't wait to tell the community about it.
Hi, Jessica. Nice to be here. Thank you.
You're welcome. So just going right to it, what does the American flag symbolize, or what does it stand for?
Well, there's probably one significant nickname that you might have heard, and that is Old Glory. But the colors of the American flag have significance. The red signifies hardiness and valor. The white symbolizes purity and innocence. And the blue signifies vigilance, justice, and perseverance. And when those colors become faded or tattered, it's time to retire your Old Glory.
So that's why we're supposed to retire it honorably. And most people don't know how to do that. So that's why we wanted to have you guys in the show here today. And there's, the colors don't just mean something, but so do the stars and stripes. They each symbolize something else. So it's, it's an iconic symbol for our country, and we need to make sure we respect it.
Right, and I would just like to add, I have interviewed people and asked them, what does the flag mean to you? And one was a woman that had been in the service, and she said it definitely means allegiance. And then I asked a young person who's in college, and she said it means that I can be what I want to be. So I thought those are two really good answers.
That's wonderful. Very different from each other,
right?
But it still all kind of ties together,
right?
And then, what is Retire Your Old Glory? This is a campaign you guys began several years ago, actually. But what exactly is the project to you?
Retire Your Unserviceable Old Glory is a community project I started in 2011, and its focus is the proper retirement and collection of American flags that are no longer a fitting emblem for display. And we all know that retiring flags is not a new idea. Flags are always accepted at your scouting organizations or your local veterans organizations. But the Retire Your Old Glory campaign is unique in that it provides a patriotically designed collection bin at common public locations for businesses and residents to be able to just stop in and drop their flag off so it can be retired.
And we will show you some footage of this bin here, because we do have one in the studio with us today, and it's very apparent that only flags are supposed to go in this bin.
Only flags.
Okay. Where did you come up with the idea for this project? I know it has a special personal meaning for you.
Sure, it has two meanings, actually. The idea, I like to say, it came from realizing there was a need in the community, but also the inspiration for the project kind of comes from my husband. My husband is an Army veteran, loved his time in the service, says it's one of the best things he ever did, and he always honors the flag that he served under. Daniel and I will be out just around town. If we see an old tattered flag flying, we pull right in, we jump out of the car, run in, and give the manager or business owner just a kind reminder that maybe it's time to retire that old flag that they have flying. The response we get is positive. People want to do the right thing. They want to show proper respect for the American flag. And over the years, the question we would get most often would be, well, where can I take my flag to retire it? And I think you've received that question as well. I think a lot of people have that question.
They have them in storage. And what we have found, that since the program has been initiated, the flags are coming out of storage. I mean, I walked into a township building, a local township building, and they had 5 flags tacked up on a coat rack. And I said, gosh, what are those? Why are those there? Oh, we can't fly them anymore, but we don't know where to take them.
And that was even a local township building.
It was, and the American Legion is one of the big supporters of this project too. You said veterans, but the American Legion, they're the ones who retire it annually at a service. But yeah, they were in the township building when I recognized them, and so it's amazing to me that people do not know. And I think the other thing that we could point out is the size of the flags. You know, people have been taking these flags, keeping them for a long, long time, and they're anywhere from this big to the huge casket flags that, and we'll be talking about that later, but it's people just don't know what to do with them.
And that's true.
Right.
And I think, you know, like you guys said, stopping into these different buildings. I know you've told me you've stopped into a church before that was flying the flag. And I think, too, just from the stories you've told me, people, again, don't know where to take them, don't know what to do with them. But I think once you approach them, they keep up on it then, because now they know what to do with it. Now they won't leave it out there tattered or worn, because now they know what to do with it.
People want to do the right thing. They really do. And we're just giving them an option. And like I said, it just came from realizing there was a need in the community. All of a sudden I was like, hey, Daniel, I mean, people, maybe they just don't know where to go. And he's like, well, maybe they don't. So I designed the graphics and put together the outline for the project, presented it at a township meeting where I live down in Cranberry Township. And the township supervisors looked at me and they said, that sounds wonderful. And within 2 weeks, it was in its first township building.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the nice thing about this campaign is that you guys are making it convenient for people. So, you know, we do have one at the Millcreek Township building, and I mean, we certainly don't discriminate if, you know, City of Erie residents are close by or Fairview residents. I know they have their own bin, but, you know, this bin is open to anybody, anywhere. I've had people actually from further municipalities or districts further out, and they said, well, I don't have anyone close to me, and I knew Millcreek did it, so I brought it in, which is perfect. That's
nice.
exactly what we want. And I know, like I said, we have a bin at the Millcreek Township building, but where are your other convenient locations for retiring Old Glory?
Well, I'll let Jackie speak to the Erie County locations, and then I'll touch on the Allegheny County, Pittsburgh, and Virginia locations.
Perfect. So this is a grander scale project.
Yes.
It
Bigger
is.
picture.
It is, and I just want to look at this paper briefly so I get my sponsors correct, because we are just very happy to have these in public locations where there's a lot of traffic, and Millcreek is the prime example. Having that in Millcreek, and the sponsor for that is Printing Concepts, excuse me. Erie Maritime Museum is another favorite spot, just because of the hours that it's open and because it's heritage and people are coming in there, and we get just large business flags. I mean, to tell you, the size of the flags that comes in is amazing to me. Their sponsor is Al's Awning. And Fairview Township, the sponsor is Fairview Township. And Harbor Creek Township is another municipal building, and Summit Township Municipal Building. And those are kind of the order in which they collect the flags too. We're happy to say Millcreek is our favorite is our favorite bin.
We have a big municipality. It's made up of 53,000 people.
Oh, wow.
So, like I said, I think between, you know, people living in Millcreek, but then also maybe people who don't live in Millcreek but work in Millcreek, we generate a large volume of flags. And I noticed when we first started the program that, like you said, they were coming out of the basement. I mean, you know, people were bringing in like 10 flags at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, not only is it generates a lot during the parade time and the festival times, and I find that actually most people, so Flag Day is in June, the 4th of July is in July.
Memorial Day, Labor Day, Veterans Day,
exactly.
all those days.
I find that more flags come in before the holidays. So I think people are changing out their flag before the holiday to fly a brand new flag for the holiday. That's my hunch, my guess. But,
I hope so, you know, because it really is about flying it, but it is also about making sure that it is proper, that there is not torn or tattered or in any way faded.
Exactly.
So that it symbolizes exactly the true meaning. And so we're happy to have all these bins located in there. And the locations are nice in that it's distributed truly around our county, you know, which makes it convenient. So we hope that people viewing this will take the time to take their flag and fly a new flag if they need one.
And you said you started the program in 2011?
2011.
11. And when was the first bin up here in Erie? When did that one get started?
Fairview.
Fairview Township.
2012.
2012.
And then I remember coming to the recycling department, of which you were just new there.
I was.
And I walked in and I said, do you think we have room to recycle? And then you said, tell me about the program. And so that would have been in August of 2013.
Yes.
But you have risen to the top of the list as far as the number of flags, which is really nice.
Yeah, we strive to be the best. So
Yeah, well, you are
there
now.
We started, and we have a healthy competition. So we partner with them on projects, and then we need to make sure that we collect more flags than them.
Well, and as the word gets out, and I totaled these, and there's close to 5,000 just for the 5 bins in Erie County, which I think is very good. And
That's
then
amazing.
Denise can share with you what they do in the other Cranberry Township and south of here.
Please share.
There are 13 total locations for the Retire Your Old Glory project, soon to be 14, but there's 13 right now. We're just finishing up the details on one that's going to happen again in Pittsburgh. There's 5 here in Erie County, and then there are 6 down in the Allegheny County, Pittsburgh area, and then there's soon to be 7, and then there's 2 in Virginia. So that gives us a total of 13 now, 14 to come.
And I have to ask, I know you guys are from the Erie-Pittsburgh area. How did you get bins in Virginia? Where did that come from?
That's a great story. I had the Virginia Public Works gentleman contacted me after he visited his son, who lived in Zelian-Opal, which is just the next town up from Cranberry Township. He visited his son over one weekend that I just happened to get so lucky to have a nice big article on the front page of one of the newspapers down there, or the Journal, where it had the flag and the whole project. And he saw the newspaper while he was visiting his son, and he went back to Fredericksburg, contacted me, said how he saw the project, and that's how the project got moved down to Virginia. Fredericksburg is a great location, full of history, Fredericksburg, Virginia. We went to visit, my husband and I went there for their first retirement ceremony when they had it. Great trip, great history, great heritage. So they're very happy to have the project down there.
Good. And so you guys keep expanding. It just keeps kind of growing, almost word of mouth at this point.
Exactly. And so but we also want to reiterate that we don't put them just any place. That becomes a very important issue with this project. We need to put them in places that are trafficked by people for, like at the Millcreek, like at the municipal buildings. It's a traffic area, or the library.
Right.
So we've shied away from putting them in churches or schools or someplace like that. Because the public access isn't there.
Right.
And we want it to be in a place where there's public access so that people can feel free to bring them in whenever you're open.
Right. And that's true. And at least in Millcreek Township, we take, very good care of our bin. We, we do check it monthly. We count the flags monthly to know exactly how many we've collected over the years. But we also have it so that it is in our lobby, but it's also, facing our secretary. So we're making sure, we're very diligent to make sure that no trash, nothing that shouldn't be put in that bin accidentally slips in. So, I know I've got an extra sign on top, but we're very vigilant to keep it in good condition too.
That's most important about the project. The success of the project really revolves around the participation that we get from the sponsors, the locations, and the responsible person, as I like to call them, which would be you from Millcreek. But really, it takes the sponsor to cover the initial costs and the investment of the bin, and then it takes the common, convenient public location, which Millcreek Township Municipal Building, libraries, places like that, those are the places we look to. And then most important, it takes that responsible person to make sure that the bin is kept neat and clean, no garbage in or outside of it. Also,
And emptied.
And emptied, and that person then collects the flags on a monthly basis, or sooner if it's overflowing. And I've gotten calls from locations that says, Denise, our person isn't going to be here till the end of the month, and our flag bin is overflowing. So I get on the phone and I make contact, or I go pick the flags up myself. But that responsible person then also calls that flag tally or flag count, or emails it back into the project, and then they also have to distribute the flags to the retirement group who's going to do the ceremony. And the groups that we work with here in Erie and also down in Virginia and in the Pittsburgh area are the Boy Scouts of America. The American Legion is a great supporter, the VFW. The Girl Scouts, the Isaac Walton League, which might be unfamiliar to you, and the National Guard also helps out when we have a large number of flags. I've been to ceremonies where there are thousands of flags being retired, and the Boy Scouts have a little bit of a hard time with that. So the National Guard
Steps in to
oftentimes will step in and have some people there to help out with retiring the flags.
That's beautiful, and it really is. It does make you feel like you're doing your part to be patriotic. You know, you love to display the flag. We all love, you know, to wave them at the 4th of July, and then it's like, what do you do with them? You don't want to throw them out, you know. So please bring them back to the Millcreek Township building, the Erie Maritime Museum, Fairview Township, Summit Township. We've got them right here,
these look
and
familiar to you?
they do look. They look like they
Parade
could have been taken
flags?
out of my bin.
Yep.
Yes.
These would be parade flags, I'm sure. These are from someone's parade.
Okay,
Yes.
I'll hold them.
And so we did talk a little bit about the National Flag Code, and that code describes how the American flag should be retired honorably. Could you touch base on, you know, tell us a little bit more about this code and how maybe they're retired locally here or down in Cranberry and Pittsburgh?
Okay,
Can you talk a little bit about the flag code?
I would. I asked if I could just read this because I think it's just
absolutely.
very important for the listeners to hear those words and know that the flag code is there, and it's been there. It's passed by Congress in 1942. So the code exists for the simple purpose, and let me just read these words to you. Our nation's flag code states that all American flags, respectfully known as Old Glory, should be retired in a dignified and respectful manner when they are no longer a fitting emblem for display and replaced with a new one. So we'd like everybody to think about those words and know that that code exists, and know that you can go online. There are many, many websites where you can find out more information, and maybe it's appropriate to share this with you. This is just called Our Flag, and it is a book that tells you, number one, how to fly it. There's a certain code on how you're going to fly it. If you're hanging it on the wall, which direction it needs to be, when it flies at half staff, when it doesn't, why it has to be lit, etc. So it's just a small book that the listeners can pick up at their legislators or at the Millcreek Municipal Building.
We do have them, and then this is a really, really nice little 15-page booklet here. And like she said, she just went through all of it and what it, you know, retiring the flag or the flag in mourning, the flag at half staff. And I have to say, since you shared with me this program, I've, you know, taken it as my personal mission to make sure that we're always flying it at half staff, you know, at proper times too. So I got myself and the maintenance staff all signed up to receive the emails as to when it should be flying at half staff. There is a website you can go to, sign in, you know, your email address, and you will just receive an email telling you when you should fly the flag at half staff, and when it needs to be lowered and when it needs to be raised again. So we're really, you know, not that we've never been, but
That's a great
we always
idea.
have been, but this just made us really diligent, and it just, you know, brings it to the forefront again.
And it just reminds people, you know, I don't know how many national holidays we have. I thought it was listed in this book, and I'm looking at it, and maybe it is in your copy, but all of the national holidays is when we should be very, very diligent. Okay. Oh, you have a different book.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I have lots of flag material.
Okay, so again, those references are online, and you can pick them up in municipal buildings that identify very quickly the dates that the flag should be flown. And you know, if we can get our listeners to just pay attention to those dates, if they don't want to put it up every day, and if they put it up every day and don't take it down at night, they need to have it lit.
And that's a good point too. I know that's one of the flag code regulations, but go ahead. Do you have a few others to share? I thought those were so interesting when I read through them, just off the top of your head, if you know them.
Well, that's the most important one because, and in inclement weather.
Exactly.
You know, if it's raining and people say, well, I have a light on it. Well, okay, you have a light on it, but if it's raining and snowing and whatever, please just take it down. And once you tell them that, it's amazing. Like Denise said earlier, people just didn't understand or didn't know where to find the information, and we are just there to engage them in conversation.
Right.
And so there are certain ways it needs to be flown. If you hang it, the stars have to be, I'm sitting in the wrong, to the left. I'm
To the left. When you hang it vertically, the stars go to the left.
Right, so.
Yes.
To my left.
Yeah.
Correct, yes.
I knew what you were getting at.
But this kind of book, and the one that Denise has there, will answer all those questions for people. And I would just encourage them, you know, to look up the information and to know that the very specific ways to fly it and when it.
And the flag code has really a few different purposes. It serves to protect the flag and how it's used and displayed, and it also serves as a guideline for retirement of the flag. So it's rules and dates of how to use the flag, but it's guidelines as well. So there's two different uses for the flag code.
Sure, and I love history, so I just want to share this little fact you guys provided me with. The flag code was adopted at the National Flag Conference in Washington, D.C., June 14th through the 15th, 1923, revised and endorsed by the Second National Flag Conference in Washington, D.C. again, May 15th, 1924. So we have been doing this a long time in our country, respecting and honoring the flag. Okay.
And it wasn't until 1942 that Congress finally
Decided, yeah.
adopted the flag, the U.S. flag code, and we've been following that code with some revisions, obviously, over the years, but we've been following that flag code since 1942.
That's amazing. And so there's a lot of different organizations that work together to make this a success, and you did talk about some of them already. Do you want to kind of go over the history or some of the other sponsors that you guys touched on?
Well, I think what I'd like to do is maybe show a few flags.
Sure.
And to let people know that the success of the project really is the sponsors, the location, and the responsible person. But then the project also does its best to communicate with the locations and the sponsors and that responsible person on a monthly basis. And we do record the flag count for every location, and that's available at the website. We do keep if there's a ceremony coming up for Millcreek Township that you would like to have made available, that can be posted to the website. Any pictures from ceremonies are posted at the website. I keep a calendar. I keep a list of sponsors. So I try to keep it as public and as open and share as much information about the project as I can and to really show my appreciation to everybody. So I try to make sure everyone is mentioned, all of their dates, all of their pictures, all of their sponsor information. And that kind of keeps everyone engaged. I guess it's really about keeping everyone engaged.
Exactly. So please do. I would like to show some of the props we have, the things you brought in on the table.
One thing I always find interesting, Jessica, is when people take the time to fold the flag in the proper manner. I'm not going to unfold this because I wouldn't get it folded back up again, but this is the way people will put it in the bin, and I think that's so impressive that they will take the time and show the respect for the flag when they do that.
I see that a lot.
Yeah, do you? Now this one is very heavy, so you want to share that one, Denise?
This was a flag that I received in the bin, and every once in a while I'll get a little note taped on them about who the person was that this service funeral flag was for, what their military service affiliation might have been, thanking me for the opportunity that they had to retire the flag, which is very nice. This is a nice little grouping of flags that someone very carefully put inside the bin. I thought it was so sweet, tied in a little ribbon. They've included their toothpick flags. And their toothpick flag even has a sticker of a flag on it. So they've included all the flags.
None of them went in the trash.
None of them went in the trash.
Right.
They've got a few small ones tucked in here as well. But like you said, these are flags that looks like they've been in someone's house for a good while. You know, they've kind of collected them. And I'm glad that they found the bin. I don't remember exactly which bin these came from, but I'm glad that they found the bin to put these in, because it looks like they were looking for someplace.
And these don't look tattered, but they look worn. They're not the right color, but this one is tattered.
They come in all different shapes and sizes. You know, we get the small parade flags, we get cemetery stick flags, depending on the time of year. You know, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, those kind of holidays. We do get a lot of cemetery flags. We also get the regular house flags. We get some very large business flags. I think the largest flag we might have had was about 30 feet, maybe even bigger. It was hard to measure because you can't let it touch the ground. And I was measuring with my husband, the Army veteran, who, you know, nothing was allowed to happen, you know, to the flag. So it was kind of hard for me to measure, but the best I could judge was it was, you know, somewhere over 30 feet. But they come in all shapes and sizes and all types of, you know, some are not so bad, and then some are in, you know, quite disrepair.
Yes.
We take them all. Another special thing is we both have attended ceremonies. You here up in, keeps on following me, you here up in Erie County, and then I usually try to attend one from every location every year. What's nice is I'll get a little token from the scout group or the VFW, and they'll share with me an eyelet from the first flag that they retire that day. I've also received some challenge coins.
Well, you
from
have to
the
tell
Scouts.
them where that is. Maybe people
The
don't know
eyelet-
what those are.
Oh, the eyelets from,
We
right.
work with them all the time.
Right, I guess. The eyelet. They'll cut off this eyelet from the first flag that they retire that day, and then they'll save it and they'll present it to me when I'm there. That's always nice.
That's a nice little token to take back with
It
you
is.
and to, remember that you've done such a nice job on this. And we have to, unfortunately, we have to wrap up here, but what can people watching this program do to participate in the Retire Old Glory movement? Is there some sort of call to action that you'd like to, send that message off to our viewers?
Well, really, do you fly a flag at home? Do you fly a flag at your office? Does your flag look like this? Or does your flag look like this? And is it time to retire your old glory?
Exactly. That's the
our-
message we need to
that's our
take away.
message, right.
We want to respect it, retire it when it's time to do so, when it's faded, when it's not the right color, when it's tattered and torn. You do have a website, www.retireyouroldglory.com. You can certainly visit the Millcreek Township Inn. We do have it in the lobby of the Millcreek Township building, and that's 3608 West 26th Street. We're going to put your email address and your contact information on the website, but I just wanted to thank you guys for being here. Again, this is such a wonderful patriotic message. I'm so glad you came into my office a few years ago, got us started on this, and we really enjoy collecting them for the public because everybody is so grateful. So thank you so
We
much.
appreciate you as well. You're a pleasure to work with.
Thank
You're
you.
a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for being here. And folks, bring your old flag to the Millcreek Township building or to your closest convenient location. Again, if it's faded or tattered, you should definitely retire it. Make sure it's lit at night or not out in inclement weather. But to find out all this information, to read up on it more, retireyouroldglory.com. And until next time, have a wonderful day.
You're watching the Millcreek Government Channel, powered by WQLN Public Media.